Hello, everyone. So this is the podcast for the first assignment, February 11th. And what you guys are going to be doing is solving this equation using what's called the quadratic formula, and that's the quadratic formula. To talk a little bit about solving. So x-intercepts, roots, zeros, solutions. That's a U, by the way, here. Solve. These are all synonyms. The question is asking you to find the real solutions. So graphically, you can interpret that as this is going to be a parabola, and it's going to find the x-intercepts for you. Okay, so that's just a piece of information that it's finding x-intercepts. Now, the first thing you need to do is put it in standard form if it's not there already. So that means everything with a variable, all the numbers need to be on the other side. To move the 2t over, I have to add the 2t to both sides. So that's always going to be done by adding and subtracting whatever is over here. So now I have 4t squared plus 8t plus 3, and the right side is 0. So instead of there being a y equals here, there's a 0 here. And that has to happen in order for you to use this. You're looking for what number or numbers can I fill in for t that will make this left side equal to 0? What numbers can I fill in here that will make the left side equal to 0? And if you look at these coordinates, it's going to be some x value and the y will be 0. So again, reinforcing the y is going to be worth 0. Okay, what x value is going to create a y value of 0? Well, this formula will find it for you. And I need to point some things out. The coefficient on the x squared is an a. The coefficient on the x to the first, or just a plain old x, is a b, and the number on the end is the c. And now it's just a plug and chug, put them in this order into the equation and simplify it. So if you want, I'll start out by writing what a is. A is worth 4, and I recommend you guys do this. B is worth 8. C is worth 3. And now you fill them in this formula. So x is equal to. Can you read this the opposite of b? So b is 8, but this says give me the opposite of b. So it's negative 8. So whatever b is, you just change the sign on it. Plus or minus the square root, b squared, so that's 8 squared is 64, minus 4, the 4 is always there, times, and these are time symbols that are in between these. A and C, all over twice A. A is 4, so the bottom is 8. Now you got to simplify this, and I would recommend you just type this in your calculator as it is. So typing it again, I got 64 minus 4 times 4 times 3, and I get 16. Notice I didn't type in the square root. So minus 8 plus or minus the square root of 16 all over 2. Oh, I don't know why I said 2. Apologize for that. 8. Because that's the number on the bottom. So now I have negative 8 plus or minus, and the square root of 16 is 4, all over 8. Now you're not finished here. You have to keep going. So you have to get the two answers for the top. Negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4. Negative 8 minus 4 is negative 12. Now these are the two numbers on top. One, and both times, the number on the bottom is going to be 8. Now these aren't joined. They're two separate questions, or two separate answers. Okay, it's like a comma in between these. Okay, and now you have to simplify these. So negative a half, and this would be what, if 4 goes into both of them, so negative 3 halves. Those are your two answers. Okay, the x is still there. All right, doing it again. This is already set equal to 0, so you don't have to do any pre-work like we did on the other one by moving stuff over. A is 12, B is negative 11, C is negative 15. So you just go down the line. Opposite of B, 11, plus or minus the square root, and then you have a negative 11 squared. You need to be a little bit careful here. It's negative 11 squared. So if you type this in your calculator, you'll get negative 121. Trust me, go ahead and do it, okay? It's not without parentheses negative 11 squared. If you type this in your calculator, you'll get 121. This is what it's supposed to be. So be a little bit careful when you have a negative number for b that you're filling in, okay? Minus 4 times a times c. The square root goes over all that. And all of this is being divided by twice a, which is 24. Okay, so now I'm going to just type this much in, not the square root. I'm just going to type that stuff in. 11 plus or minus the square root of something over 24. So we got negative 11 squared minus 4 times 12 times negative 15. And I get 841. Now, it should work out to be a nice square root for these type of problems. Okay? It should. If it doesn't, that's the next assignment, which this is going to signal you in this assignment that something went wrong. Square root of 841 is 29 over 24. Now you're going to get two answers here, and you have to do them both. 11 plus 29 is 40, and that's still over the 24. And your other answer is 11 minus 29, which would that be negative 18 over 24. Now you have to reduce all these. Okay, I think there's a 4 that goes into both, so that would be 10 over 24. So 4 going into that would give you 6, but that has to reduce again. There's a 2 that also is going to come out of there. So 5/3. Okay. This one, I think there's a 6 that goes into both, so negative 3/4. So those are your two answers. Okay. This one, I need to get this on the other side. And you're always going to do it by adding and subtracting. So the left side is just n squared plus 8n plus 16. It's now equal to 0. Again, it's important that you have this equal to 0 before you use this. A is equal to 1. That's the coefficient in front of the term with the square. B is equal to 8. C is equal to 16. And now you just fill it in the order. So x is equal to opposite of b, so negative 8 plus or minus the square root of b squared, b is 8, minus 4 times a times c, all over twice a. Twice a would be 2. So x is equal to negative 8 plus or minus all the stuff over 2. And I'm going to type in the 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times 16, which gives you 0. Now, the square root is 0. What times itself is 0? Well, there's only one thing that's going to work. Okay? So x is equal to negative 8 plus or minus the square root of 0, which is 0, over 2. Adding or subtracting 0 is just going to give you negative 8 over 2, a little heck of a 2, which is negative 4. So you only have one answer for this question. Okay? This last one, add the 4 to both sides. And you have 3k squared minus 14k plus 8 is equal to 0. Your a is equal to 3, your b is equal to negative 14, and your c is equal to 8. So now you fill out the pattern. Good. So x is equal to the opposite of b, so that would be 14 plus or minus the square root b squared. Again, when it's negative, you need that parenthesis, because negative 14 without parentheses is going to be what? Negative 196, I think. 14 squared. Yeah, negative 196. It has to be in a parenthesis when that thing's negative. So you get 196. Again, try that on your calculator. Okay? Minus 4 times a times c, all over twice a, which would be 6. X is equal to 14 plus or minus square root of something over 6. Now we're going to simplify this. So I'm just going to type it as is, parentheses and all, right in the calculator. So parentheses negative 14, oops, I hit the wrong button. Negative 14 squared. Oh, come on, fingers. Negative 14 squared minus 4 times 3 times 8. And I get 100. Can't see the 100 very well. Sorry about the poor penmanship. Square root of 100 is 10 over 6. So I have 14 plus 10 over 6, and I have 14 minus 10 over 6. Okay? 14 plus 10 is 24 over 6 is 4. 14 minus 10 is 4 over 6, which is 2/3. So those are your two answers. Okay? And that's the name of your assignment. Thank you for your time. Have a great one.